Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk about, you've seen many videos which I've made for 22-year-olds and 32-year-olds. Today I'm talking about the mid-career people, which means somebody who's in their 40s or maybe even in their 50s, or they somewhere between 40 to 50, typical mid-career. You have finished 20 years of service, you got 20 years to go, and maybe another 30-35 years to go up post-retirement. That's your financial life which is pending. And obviously in the mid 40s and 50s, people have more complicated needs. First of all, they have not done away with their insurance. They still need insurance because they have not adequately provided for children's education, etc. Very likely that they have a home loan. Very likely that their spouse has taken a break, right, to bring up the kids or whatever. So from a double income, no kids, now you're gone to single income, 2 kids, right? So there, a lot of complications could be there at that stage. You're still providing for your children's college education, your own retirement, and very importantly your parents also. Your parents may be demanding very physically and or financially. I'm not getting into that, but the chances are at this stage you are having to do a lot of work over and above your household work, right? You have your house to take care of, you have perhaps your parents' portfolio to take care of, perhaps you have your parents' financial requirements to take care of. Maybe no need financial help, but they may need financial administrative help, right? Into this, this is a set of people who have some more goals. You have very pressing work pressure, right? So with all those things, what are all the things that you should do? I'm not talking about the goals that you should have achieved. That I've done a separate video, right, on what you should have achieved, what could have happened, but I'm not getting into that. Maybe I'll get into that also a little bit, but largely what are the things that you should be doing now at your age of let's say 45, for you to have a good career ahead and save enough money, create a corpus for your retirement, children's education, parents' health, looking after all that, right? So what are the things that you should do? First thing, understand that you have to keep yourself relevant. It's very important, because if you have 20 years to go, you cannot say, oh, I don't understand technology, what is this chat GPT, I need not know. To say that, you have to be at least 65 years of age and say, oh, now I don't know. That's fine. After that, you're not trying to make a career, whereas you still have 20 years to go. So first of all, nurture yourself. So when I say look after yourself, I mean maybe take additional training, maybe get an additional degree, I don't know, whatever you have to do. Make sure that you join the gym and look after your health, because there's no point in falling ill and not being able to work for the next 20 years. So take care of your health, take care of your educational qualifications, whatever is needed, some short-term training, company provided, you provide it yourself, whatever, take care of that. Make sure that you remain relevant for the next 15, 20, 30 years, whatever that you want to work. If you're a doctor, you have just started earning, right? So you got to work till 70. So if you're a regular employee, maybe you will work till 65. Maybe you'll work till 60, whatever. For the next 20 years, you have to keep yourself relevant. So nurturing your health, nurturing your education, nurturing your training, do your PR. Make sure a lot of people in the industry know you, apart from those whom you know. Try to reach out, be up to date with your CV on LinkedIn. Make sure that you're talking to people. Make sure that you're attending interviews if you're an employee, right? So do all those things. That's very important for you to handle at this age. You have conflicting goals, make sure that the conflicting goals are handled very well. For example, if you have a parent who's got some major illness, and you have to provide for that, you have to provide for your daughter's education, you have to provide for your own retirement, right? It has to be a very difficult balancing exercise that you do. If it is appropriate that your wife should be working, make sure that she works. Don't give discounts and say, oh yeah, we need to look after the kid. Yes, all that is important, but if you have overstretched your goals for whatever reasons, your spouse should also be working. I'm little against a spouse taking a break for whatever reasons, because suddenly at 50, if you can't work or your husband can't work, depending on who's watching, which means that 10 years which you thought you'll be the best period to earn money, that is lost on your families, right? So you cannot afford to give up. Women should not give up their career halfway for whatever reasons. It all sounds very convenient. Make sure you hire help, whatever. I know I'm going to get brickbats, but I'm willing to live with that. Make sure that both of you are contributing, or you learn to live on one salary, learn to live in a smaller house. Don't take vacations abroad. I'm saying don't try to say I want both. It's not going to happen. You want your foreign vacations, they're expensive, and you want your wife not to work, which means you have to be extremely well earning, which will cause a lot of stress, which could lead to stroke, right? So all these things could happen. You have to balance everything at this age. You don't have these pressures at 32, and if you're pulled on till 65, well, most of your things have been taken care of. In your 40s, you need to make sure that all the goals are well balanced. Protect what you already have, which means you take term insurance, you take critical illness insurance, you ensure that your company gives you some medical insurance, and you yourself take some insurance, because if you have left one job and if you're between jobs and you have a problem, it is only your own insurance which is going to protect you, right? So all these things are important. Very important to make a will, because if you have real estate especially, just the nomination won't work, right? So make sure that you protect what you have. Make sure that your parents know how much you have, how much you can help, how much you can't help. If you have siblings, make sure you take their help when it comes to parents' finances, right? So do all that. Make sure that parents' finances are well documented, your finances are well documented, because you don't want to be stuck without doing proper documentation. Make sure that if both of you are working, don't let the lifestyle creep completely ruin your retirement, right? This lifestyle creep is very difficult to handle. Once you get used to buying a phone for 1 lakh of rupees or 1,25,000, then your wife wants one, your child wants one, so there are 4 phones in the house, or that 1 lakh rupee phone, right? So this gets expensive. Every lifestyle creep thing gets expensive. A bigger car, a second car for the kids, right? All these things get expensive. So make sure that your retirement plan is in place, retirement money is in place, and then you get your lifestyle creep. Yeah, whatever it is, whether it is buying gadgets or whether it is taking expensive expensive vacations, right? So whatever it is, all those things have to be taken care of. If you get some gift from somewhere, some uncle died and gives you money, make sure that your retirement is adequately funded, right? So I'm not trying to sell you a product, but I'm just trying to tell you that 40 years, if you are in retirement and you're not working enough, I think most of us will find something to do, some money to be made in your 60s, if not in your 70s. But be ready for not being able to earn money, but having to spend money, right? This is a time when maybe you start reducing some risk, take some money off equity, put it in debt. Maybe if your daughter is 18 years of age and you want to pay for her post graduation, which could be maybe after 22, 23, 22 maybe, and you want to make sure that you've withdrawn that money, kept it in debt funds, kept it in the bank deposit. Today, taxation wise, both are same, doesn't really matter. So keep some portion in debt funds, keep some portion in equity funds, because that could be a kicker. Make sure that you're adequately providing for both your children's education. If you have home loans to be repaid, make sure you repay that. This is a time when your net worth has increased, and which means your portfolio size has increased, and very likely that the portfolio complexity would have increased. Make sure that you sit with your advisor, get the right advice, sit with your wife, sit with your children, right? And make sure that the portfolio is completely understood by everybody. Most of us create a complex portfolio because we do it ourselves. We don't involve our families. And then at some stage, if you are not there, the family is going to curse you for having a complex portfolio. Do not have a complex portfolio unless your spouse and children are involved in it. Your spouse is not interested, that's fine. At least if maybe your daughter is interested, maybe she's doing her MBA in finance, maybe she's doing her CA, maybe she's doing engineering, doesn't matter. Make sure that she understands what you're doing. If it's a son, make sure he understands what you're doing. There are some risks that if your family knows how much wealth you have, they may overspend. I've seen both cases of children being very responsible and children being very irresponsible. That's a call that you have to take, but involve your children. Make sure that they understand what they are doing. Make sure the documentation is in place. Make sure that your name is right in all the investments. These are all things which you have to attend to in your 40s and 50s. Don't ignore any of these things. All these things are important. I may have repeated some of those things, but yeah, but things like making a will and keeping the documentation perfect, I cannot say it more often, right? I don't mind saying it 10,000 times if people have to hear it. Thank you.